We also did a project-based learning, which was a big part of what my group did. We created a mini-putt course throughout the semester, so the students worked on that. It basically covered all of geometry measurement units, a little bit with Algebra 2 we were able to throw in. So they built a mini-putt course which was probably half of that size of a desk up there. And they built it out of wood, they designed the shapes, they came up with all of that. So they made this course. They had to figure out we went a mini putting first because a lot of my students had never been and they didn't even know what golf was. So we had to go bring them mini putting. They designed their own course to scale, so they got to design a course, draw it to scale, so that covered the whole proportional reasoning part with scale. And then they ended up building shapes, drawing shapes, calculating the volume, the playable area on the field, on the course, and then they also did the proper angle that you had to hit the ball through. So it really covered everything that you could think of in geometry measurement with building that. If you go to the next one. So our EQAO checkpoints were kind of related to what we wanted them to get out of a certain spot. So I said we did specific deadlines on this. These are the only real deadlines that we said you had to meet on this day. This is the day that everything had to be done. Otherwise, we found that they kind of would fall behind. They wouldn't get whatever they had to get done. So on the days that we said the scale had to be done by for their big drawing, I would do an EQAO checkpoint. So that's a question what we made up with that over there. So that was a scale one where they had to measure a certain part, figure out something with scale, and that was just an EQAO question or EQAO-like questions that we found. One of them was, or we had a composite area one or a volume one that they might have had to do, and that's after we expected them to build and do that section. So they would do those checkpoints. That would be a written thing. They'd hand that in. What I would do is I would give them a level, I'd give feedback, and then there would be a correction spot where they could do their corrections for that, so that would be another level I collected. And then the last little part that we did with this was I did an interview with each group, so each group had to explain. I basically gave them this and said, does your layout match your course in the scale diagram? So they would explain what they did, and it was really easy to mark because I got all my marking done with just the interview right there with them. So I said, done, not yet, completely, and they were pretty honest with, well, I obviously don't have everything done, so it would be minimal, so I'd be able to mark it right with them. And that was just a section that we did. We did about 4 checkpoints throughout the mini-putt course, and it was just an interview that we did with them. So that was, and the mini-putt course was done throughout the back. We did it through the whole semester, so it was kind of a back project that we worked on. We had specific days we worked on it, but also they worked on it while we were just doing the spiraling throughout the course if they finished something early. That's really what my group did.